Hey everybody, it's JCTheSniper with another blade review. This time I've got for review the Kershaw Vapor by Ken Onion, model 1640. So, that's the knife we're going to be reviewing today. So, first of all, philosophy of use. For this knife, philosophy of use is going to be EDC. It's just not really appropriate for tactical purposes. Could you press it into tactical service if you had to? Yeah. But, you could press the screwdriver into tactical service if you needed to. I mean, that could make a good weapon. Or, a knife like this Remington. No lock and it can fold on you, but if you had to, you could slash someone with it. So, could you use it? Yes. Would you want to? No. If you need a tactical knife, this is not the one you want. But for EDC, it's a good knife. So, size and weight are good. This is a 3.25 ounce knife, so not heavy. It's comparable in size to the Gerber Paraframe, which is almost exactly the same size, similar handle shape, same pillared construction, same frame lock. But the Gerber is 2.7 ounces due to that fully skeletonized handle. This is 3.25, so a little bit heavier than that, but not as heavy as the M16, which is 3.8. So, it's not the lightest knife ever, but it is fairly light. The blade is 3 inches, so that's a decent size for EDC. That's going to be adequate for most cutting purposes. And the handle or closed length is 4 inches. So about 7 inches overall for that knife. Also, along with size, it is a very flat carrying knife, very slim. If you compare it here with the M16, you can see it's about half the height. So, about half as thick as the M16. The same thickness as the Paraframe, which is also a very flat carrying knife. And it's a little bit thinner than the Evo as well. So it's a very flat carrying knife, which is good because that slides right in there. You won't even know you have that on, which is a good thing when you're carrying a knife all the time. Steel, it's an Aus 6 steel, the blade is. And it seems to be a good steel. It's held up well. I've had this knife for about 4 or 5 years, carried it on and off. And it's an Aus 6. So, not a bad steel. I know, well, I don't know. Some people aren't fans of the Aus 6, but it's performed fine for me. Seems to hold the edge pretty well. It's a little bit harder to sharpen than some of the other steels that, are out there, but I don't think it's a bad steel. And blade shape I really like. It's a full flat grind, so that's nice. Good for slicing. If you want to use it to, maybe you're cutting some food or something like that. It's going to be good slicing because it's flat ground that way for the whole length of or whole width of the blade. Pretty good point without being too fragile. And there's a good little bit of belly there, so I like the blade shape, and I think it's aesthetically pleasing. Speed is good. It pops out pretty well, comes out quickly. Comparable to the Paraframe, about the same. So, probably not quite as fast as my M16, but it's quick enough, especially for an EDC knife. It's not going to be a big deal for you. Lockup is really, really good. And that thing, I've had it for 4 or 5 years, like I said, and I've loaned it to some people since I've got a pretty good collection. Have some friends that didn't have any knives, and, so it's been used quite a bit, and it is locking up tight still. And I've never had to adjust that pivot point, which is adjustable. But I've never needed to, so good lockup, and strength is good because it's a liner lock, or not a liner lock, a frame lock, similar to the Paraframe. So gonna have good lock up there, because it's a big old thick piece of steel connecting with that blade to lock it down. And of course, stainless scales, so all metal construction. It's just going to be a strong knife. Handle material, obviously, 410 stainless steel. You know, not much to say about that. It's just a stainless. And there's no handle scales, obviously, because it's just a slab of stainless. Fairly thick, sturdy slab of stainless, in fact. Ergonomics are good with this knife. The thumb stud's mounted in a pretty good location for popping it open. You know, not too much trouble there. Fits in your hand nicely. Lays in the palm well. And that's Ken Onion does that with a lot of his knives. His knives generally have a good ergonomic feel in hand. Doesn't feel quite as nice in hand as the Oso, but it feels good. So, no complaints with the shape of the handle. Finger choil's nice there. Locks in pretty good. There's some functional jimping on the back, and a little bit of a thumb ramp. This could be sharper, to tell the truth, but it's not bad, so that's good. Also, they give us some jimping down here, which I'm not sure what they intend you to use that for, but I don't know. Maybe it's just for looks. I can't figure out what you do with that, so I think that's kind of silly. This stainless is really slick, so no traction whatsoever on the sides of the blade. So that's not real great. Another reason it wouldn't be good in a tactical situation, but jimping back here and the groove, so you can lock in pretty good, and that's adequate for EDC usage. So I don't have too many complaints with that. Clip design I think is stupid. This thing sticks, it sticks that far out of your pocket, which is silly. No knife should ride that high in your pocket. Let me show you what I mean here. It sticks out that much out of a pocket. Plus, it's silver, so it's extremely shiny. So you've got that big old shiny chunk of metal sticking out of your pocket like that. That's pretty obvious. Whereas something like the Evo doesn't do that. The Evo, with a looped clip design, look at that. That thing disappears in your pocket. Can't even see it. So, much better clip design. And something like, you know, even the paraframe, which isn't the best clip, goes in there and disappears better than the Vapor. You know, it's a little bit lower and it's a darker color, so it's going to blend better unless you're wearing a pair of white pants. So, you know, I think that hides a little bit better. So I think they made a mistake with mounting that clip so far down, and I think they did it partially because they wanted to leave this pivot point exposed so you could adjust it, and that was the easiest way to do it. But they could have looped it up, taken it from here up and then looped back down, and just put a hole similar to these to access that pivot point, and it would have looked fine and it would have worked perfectly, and that would have been better in my opinion. So not a big fan of the clip design. Pillared construction, so even though you can take this knife apart to clean it, you won't need to, because you can just blow that out. So unless you have something majorly wrong with the pivot point and you need to take it all apart, it'll be fine. And I've never had a reason to take that apart, so that's good. And durability is really good. Like I've said, had this for 4 or 5 years and been loaning it out, been using it, and it's held up fine. Finish is good, no rusting. One of my friends left it out in the rain for 2 days before they found it, and you know, no rust, so easy to clean and maintain. And obviously all metal construction, so it's going to be real durable. There's no handle scales to fail or anything like that. So I find it to be a very solid knife. JCTheSniper reviewing the Kershaw Vapor. Signing off.